Texas Longhorns go 7-3, which I think a lot of Texas fans are pretty disappointed by. Obviously, the Texas administration is pretty disappointed by. They fired Tom Herman. I'm going to sit here and make the case that it wasn't as bad as people think.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do.
The expectations are slightly high.
Let's talk about the offense.
To put it lightly.
I'm giving the offense an A. I thought the offense was great.
Yeah.
I thought now, that's not to say that the offense was consistently great.
No.
But I thought that overall, on balance, the offense was very good. I give them an A.
The fact that Bijan Robinson didn't play earlier
is
the one thing that's
now
like...
I know I have some questions about some usage, right?
That's the one thing. But overall...
But look, this is a team that ranked 5th in the nation in scoring offense, 19th in the nation in total offense, right? It was not nitpicky. And again, I would say this is closer to an A- than it is to an A+.
Yes, I would agree.
I thought the offense was really good. And the way that they were able to grind it, hold on to the football, I think that's one thing that was really impressive. They were able to hold on to the football. They were able to beat you in a variety of different ways. I thought you saw Sam Ehlinger grow up and have arguably his best season.
Yes.
He was very good. They were able to run the ball regardless of who was back there. Again, I have some usage issues.
Yes.
But I think overall, if you take a look at the offense, you got to say, yeah, it's pretty darn good.
Well, and
it's hard to argue that they were necessarily this trash offense.
Yeah, I think too, Texas thrives when they have a dual threat quarterback. That seems to be just throughout their history, they thrive in that essence, and they had that, and they worked with it.
And look, if you want to argue that they didn't have a number one receiver, I agree.
Yeah.
If you want to argue that they didn't have a number one running back, I agree. If you want, Keontae Ingram, I thought was a relative disappointment this year, right? But I thought the offensive line held up pretty darn well. And I thought Sam Ehlinger covered up a lot of warts and got them to a really nice offense. I give them an A. I know that there are people who are going to yell at me about that, but I think that the offense was pretty darn good. On the defense, I'm going to give them a B.
They got better.
I would say that if you asked me after the first couple of weeks, I would have said we're trending towards a D.
But
I think that they got better as the season went on. I think that the rushing defense was always consistently pretty good. I thought that their front was pretty darn good. Joseph Asai, I thought, had a really nice year. I thought their front was pretty good. Look, did I love the secondary all the time? No. I would have loved to see them get after the quarterback a little bit more. They were good at stopping the run. They weren't necessarily good at pressuring without sending extra guys. They weren't necessarily good at turning the ball over.
It took them too long to figure out what they were doing out on the field.
Right.
They looked lost.
They did. There were times where they looked lost. I do think they improved as the season went on. And, yeah, I'm going to give the defense a B. I thought the defense was pretty good. Not spectacular, pretty good.
Yep. Once they figured it out,
yeah.
In the second half of the season, they weren't terrible.
No, they were not. I thought it started off real rough. They figured things out. So I'm gonna give it a B. My team MVP, I'm gonna go a little bit off the board. I'm gonna go with Sam Cosme.
Okay.
The offensive lineman. I thought he was the central figure in the strength of the team, which was I thought their offensive line was pretty good. And I thought that a lot of it started with Sam Cosme. I thought he was their most important player, and so I would give him most valuable player, a guy who stepped up in a big way, and they needed him to be a leader on that offensive line, and he was. And I think he elevated that whole unit to help them have a pretty darn good offense. So I'm going to go with Sam Cosme as my MVP. So now look forward to 2021. And look, a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what Steve Sarkisian's the team is going to look like, right?
We don't have the same quarterback that you've had for so many years.
There's a lot of changes, right?
Yeah.
Sam Ehlinger's gone. Brennan Eagles is going to the NFL draft. Sam Cosme's going to the NFL draft. Joseph Osai and Taquan Graham are going to the NFL draft. Caden Stearns is going to the NFL draft, right?
So you've got Bijan coming back.
And by the way, they are maybe setting the record for most guys in the transfer portal right now.
Yep.
You're always going to see that whenever a coaching change, but Quinton Jackson's leaving, right? He's going to Utah. Keontae Ingram's leaving. He's going to USC. Xavier Alford on the defense is leaving to go to USC as well. You have got a lot of guys that are moving around. I think Texas is a real mystery heading into 2021. Real mystery. Now look, And I will always tell you this. I will summon my one of my football analysis heroes in Richard Johnson, which is the bowl game is the worst data point. It's the worst data point. So stop putting a ton of emphasis on it. With that said, if you want to be excited about Casey Thompson, I think he can be.
Yeah.
And I think that there are some playmakers around him that are going to make things pretty fun to watch, right? If you want to do that. If you also want to say that the defense brings back, a decent amount of their talent from last year, I think you're within your rights to say that. The offense needs an overhaul. The offense is going to go through a lot of changes. And they've got a guy who's going to, in Steve Sarkisian, who is an offensive guy, who's going to want that kind of blank slate. Well, he's got it, right?
Yeah.
He's got it. I think they're a mystery heading into 2021. I think their defense has a chance to be pretty good. I think their offense is shrug emoji. And we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
So, there you go. That is Texas's post-mortem.